This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. One of my heroes is a convicted murderer. Yeah, that's what I said, a convicted murderer. Born in 1900, and he had run-ins with law through his youth. When he got into his 20s, he was running a still with some other men. And the revenuers, they found it, and there was a shootout, law enforcement against the bad guys. One of the police officers was killed. The other men all got away, but this man didn't. He was convicted then of murdering a police officer. Be real lucky if he didn't get the death penalty. But cooler heads provided that he probably wasn't the only one that did the shooting. And therefore they decided instead to give him second-degree manslaughter. And he was going to spend an awful long time, though, in prison. Absolutely. And he went in bitter. Absolutely. But being thrown in the hole, a cage if you will, all wrapped around in steel, you couldn't even stand up, a hot box if you will, and his hate turned to something else. He wanted to think about something, and he had something in his mind, and he kept thinking about it. And darned if he didn't come up with something. In his mind, he saw something that he thought he could build. When he got out of the hole that time, he then asked permission, and they gave him permission to be in the shop. And he started drawing pictures, every way and every kind he could. The warden allowed it, because he saw a change in him. And as he continued to build under the supervision of the prison, without question, he was able to create a new kind of gun that had never been created before. In fact, he built 4 of them in prison. In prison. Oh, you bet there was some backlash. Public backlash, you better believe it. But be that as it may, the gun manufacturers were very interested. And when they came, they were in awe of a man with no education being able to do that. In fact, most of what he built, the guns that he had built, he did it with nothing but a file. A file. And he was building guns that they couldn't do. And had never thought up. And short strokes pistons and different things, making the cartridge itself be the ejector. All kinds of things that were just nothing short of amazing. Amazing. Taking tremendous amounts of weight away from a gun. And better cycling of the ammunition. All of it was right there. He had all of the major gun manufacturers, without question, at his doorstep. And it didn't help that World War II was right around the corner, and we only had that 11-pound M1 Garand rifle. 11 pound, 8 shots. And the 45 ACP was about the only 2 main guns out there, excluding some machine guns. And so, he built a small carbine. 15-shot clip and a straight case like a pistol cartridge in a .30 caliber, and it was the M1 carbine. They made 5 million of them, and they went to war. And it's no small statement to say that tens of thousands of American lives are saved because of the ability of that gun to kill the enemy before the enemy could kill our boys. And not only in World War II, but in Korea as well, and even in Vietnam. And even today, there are armies around the world that still pack the M1 carbine, as well as law enforcement in a lot of third world countries yet today. Absolutely. Williams was his name. They called him Carbine Williams. His real name was David Williams. And he is one of my heroes. And he's a hero because instead of sentencing him to death, the death penalty, for killing a police officer, they let that man have basically life imprisonment. And he turned his life and saved so many other lives by doing it. I will end the story with that. You take with it what you want.